So I'm showing you version 4 of the Gatwick airport mod. Just flying into Gatwick now, just checking the FPS. It's looking like it's 30 at the moment, but I've put so many new models in for the stand signage. I think I'm going to experience a bit of a slowdown because of my old system. I've got a 980 Ti GPU and a Core i7 3770, which is about 6 years old. So looking over to the right, I'm getting a bit of a slowdown. I think the cache might help. I've got a rolling cache set, so hopefully it will improve. I'm heading down 26 left to a new area that I've modelled. Checking out the fire station. There's a bit of flickering in the glass. I've corrected most of it. This is just a standard MSFS glass in Blender. It doesn't look too bad. No flickering. Checking the other side. So I brought the panes of glass out slightly. I couldn't create a boolean into this structure, it was too complicated, so I couldn't cut out a cavity. Heading over to the Boeing Hanger that I modelled today from a few photos and Google Earth. I think the scale of it looks quite accurate. It is a huge structure. It's come out really quite good. Heading into Taxiway Uniform. The Bing maps are quite old. This is when it was a construction site. So I've tried to cover the apron in front, but it doesn't really work. I think it's because the priority is given to the default maps. Sometimes the 787s pop in and out of the ground. I think it's a default. There we go. It's a something to do with the assets that I'm using for the planes. It's an Azobo 787. So I like the corrugation. It looks really good that I created just with a simple spline. That does look good. Put 30 lights on top. Blender lights. Looks quite good. I think the settings are quite good for those lights. Changing the weather. I think it's a bit cloudy at the moment. Yeah. You can see the underneath texture coming through the apron when it was a building site. I might look into it a bit further, see if I can get that covered up. So this is a Taxiway Uniform, the 200 stands. So each stand now has its own modelled stand sign, exactly as it is in real life. We've got a bar type and an individual sign. A lot of these stands are split into 3. Most of these stands are split into 3. But if a larger aircraft parks, it's normally on the middle stand. So only one large aircraft can park. I'm using OBS at the moment, so my frame rates are going to be less. It looks a little bit stuttery, but it's not quite that bad that it's showing in this video. So all the way to 235 left. So that's looking good. So the scale of these crossbars are quite big, and I've done it. It literally is about the same height as a A380, which in real life it's not, but I'm just trying to make it visible for flight sim. When you're on the centre line in a taxiway, at least you've got a chance of seeing the stand numbers. So that's the 200's all done. Also noticed that some of the taxiways don't have any taxiway lighting for some reason, so I've added a few. Blue's not the ideal colour, but that's all that was available in the assets that actually worked in the developer mode. Just grabbed a few lights, followed the line. So that's the 200's done. Heading over to the 170's. Some stands are split. Now this centre line I actually added, and it's not actually a taxiway marking. It's just a tiny thin model that I created. That's the only way I could get it in. So if you look really closely, you can see it's like a 0.1 millimeter thick that sits perfectly on top of the actual stand. There we go. So it looks quite good. All the light masts are in the correct position as well. I know this side is the even 170s and it goes down to 180. You'll notice that I've added lighting. This is the cargo area. There's a few missing centre lines. That's clear. There's a few hangars now that are built for EasyJet, taking over some stands all the way to 153. I had to put some centre lines onto here. Heading over to the 150s, also missing centre lines, split stands. Now they're all added. So each of these stand signs has a individual model built for it. And when I actually made the model, I should have checked it, because on the back side or the rear side of the plates here, there's a bit of an interaction, material interaction, but you don't notice it. You'll only notice it where there's opposite stands next to each other. So that's the interaction. Two different types of material, colour, texture, exactly at the same position, so I can fix that. And I've just done a test for 178. Have to export another model with Blender. There we go, it's fixed. So on the 130s and 140s I'll probably do that, because you really notice it flickering away. So these are the 170s. The odd number 170s. Lots of crossbar signs. A couple of split stands. Heading over towards the tower, you've got a couple of slightly different stands. 161 right under the tower. I quite like the tower, the default tower. I'm not going to replace it. A 162 triple split stand. Quite often you get two EasyJets or to any kind of Airbus 320 or 319s, two of them parked either side. There's the closed off area of Pier 6. Added a few assets, so now 109 is blocked. You have to use Taxiway Quebec. I've put some lighting on for the night time, the Taxiway Lights. Just follow that line to get to Taxiway Lima. And I've added lights to Taxiway Lima. And Taxiway Lights on Quebec Alpha. This is Quebec Alpha, heading to the 60s on the left. I don't know what all these electronic boxes are. Maybe I've accidentally added an asset, so I'll probably remove that from 68 because that's blocking. And also this is looks like it's a bumpy, there's a bit of a hill here, so it's blocked my line. It's blocked the centre line. Don't know what all that is. It's like engineering equipment. A bit of activity. 67 at an angle. There's the 60s. Ended in 64. 64 right. Heading back down to Quebec Alpha to head into Lima. And coming over to the 130s now. I've added signage there. .130 all the way over to 136. That's looking quite good, but you notice the flickering on the back side of the signs on the 140s. It's quite noticeable in the day, so I'm probably going to fix the 130s and 140s eventually to stop that interaction. Who's that? There's the 140s. That was already in a previous package. Changed the lighting on Pier 6. Night time. Slightly blue emission. It looks quite good. So there's loads of taxiway lights already that Asobo have added, but in these areas I've added a few. Heading into taxiway, this is taxiway Kilo. I've added taxiway lights all the way down to the cul-de-sac. Checking the stand number. Stand is Kilo Alpha, that's correct. Need to add some lights down here. This is Taxiway Lima. I need to tone down these red lights. This is an asset built into the program, so I'll probably change them to blender lights, tone it down a bit, down to 38. That's pretty much it for this update. I've toned down the lighting in the north terminal. That's looking much better. That doesn't look too bad. Just the monorail is missing. That could be something to do for the next one. Add the monorail. But the north terminal is looking pretty good. That's just about it. I've changed the glass panels on Pier 6. It's looking quite good in the night, but the daytime I need maybe change it again. I think it's too dark. It's like a black. I need to add some brickwork, a few things on Pier 6. So the glass doesn't look very good. It's too dark. I'll probably change that in the next update. I'm going to do a few more things to the bridge and to Pier 6. And that's just about it. See you on version 4.1.